Welcome back to the Systemish Show. My name is Tamika Carpenter Carlson. I am your host. If you are new to me, stay new. And if you are coming back for another time, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please share, like, comment, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Today, we're going to be talking about the 3 reasons why you're struggling to find a new onboard system to onboard new clients, which I think is super important today. A lot of businesses, a lot of companies are having trouble onboarding clients. They don't have a certain structure in place in order for them to do that. So we're going to talk about it today. We're going to have those conversations around it. So for all of you who don't know who I am Tamika Carpenter Carlson. I am your launch strategist, your expert OBM. I am your collaborator, your reinforcement, your supporter, and listening ear for overwhelmed CEOs, saving them 18K to 30K plus in business costs without manual labor by implementing high-level organizational streamlined processes and standard operating procedures. So let's hop on in. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the 3 reasons why you're struggling to find a system to onboard new clients. A lot of times what happens is you spend a lot of time as a CEO in that hiring process, right? Interviewing candidates. And a lot of times, sometimes when you interview candidates, you're not really sure what to look for, right? You might have a set of questions that you want to ask them. You might have information you want to know. But the reality of it is you really won't know who you actually hired until you put them in a job, right? And allow them to do what it is that the job requires them to do. And sometimes we find that over time, we hire people and we hire them for the wrong position, right? Or we hire sometimes people who say they have one type of skills, but when they get into the job, they don't really function at that level, right? And a lot of times what happens is you see yourself spending a lot of time in the onboarding process trying to train them, but not only train them, you try to stay in the loop of what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how your company's running, and still trying to be the face of your brand. And that's hard sometimes because what happens is you're not as productive as you should be within your business, right? And the hiring process can take weeks, can take months. It can take a period of time because you have to remember when you hire somebody, it takes a period of time for you to go through, sometimes the background check, sometimes their references, sometimes also just getting them acclimated with your company, right? Because they're new to your company. They don't know how you work. They don't know how you function. They don't know any of that. So now you got to make sure that they know your company in and out for them to be performing at the highest level. And a lot of times that does not happen, which is okay. And then you find yourself sometimes, or most of the time, you're spending a lot of money on new hires because you have a high turnaround, right? Meaning that you have a lot of people that come in and out, in and out. I see this all the time with entrepreneurs, CEOs, especially online business owners. They have a lot of team members, a lot of people that come into their organization often because they're not hiring the right people. So you got to remember when you do the onboarding process, which is it takes a valuable time, but not only does it take a valuable time, you have to know how expensive it can be, right? The reality of it is on average cost of a bad hire is $24,000, right? And some people might say that's not a lot of money, but total that, right, for 24,000 per hire. So say you hire 5 people at 24,000. Do the math, right? That's a lot of money where you could have put that money into marketing. You could have put that money into, buying things for your business. You could have put that money anywhere else. But now you keep putting it into new hires. You keep putting it into the hiring process. And the thing behind it is now you're taking from your business revenue and now you have to put it back, right? You have to figure out how can you double up to get that revenue that you keep losing for the new hire that you just hired. And honestly, they're not really qualified for the job, but because you went through their resume or because you had a conversation with them and you liked what you saw, you were like, okay, I'm going to hire them. And they come to find out that they were a bad hire. And a lot of times it happens. We all had a bad hire within our company, within our business. And, the only thing you can do is live and learn from the bad hire and just make sure it doesn't happen again. So when you interview your candidates, you have to be very strategic when you interview them, right? And a lot of times, sometimes people tell you, oh, well, have them do some tests or have them do certain things. That goes to show you a lot of how they work, or a lot of what it says about the way that they work in a position. The truth of the matter is, you really don't know how somebody is until they're actually in the business, working in your business. So I say, honestly, when you interview somebody and you take somebody through the hiring process, the key facts about it is you need to at least have somebody in that position on a trial basis for at least 30 days. When you have them in your business for at least 30 days, you can walk through step by step and actually go through the process with them. The reality of it is, when you interview somebody, if it takes a lot of your time, it's taking a lot of your time because you don't have SOPs in your business. You don't. And those are standard operating procedures. Because the standard operating procedures are basically put in place for you to actually say to somebody, follow these steps, implement these steps for this process. So what that says is, if you don't have SOPs, or if your SOPs are not updated, the reality of it is, then any hire that you have is not going to be able to follow your process. They're not going to be able to actually train properly because they don't know what they're doing. And a lot of times, as business owners, CEOs, we have all of it in our head, and then we tend to forget that not everybody works the same way. And the fact that not everybody works the same way, not everybody thinks the same way, is it doesn't matter how many times you tell somebody what your process is. There are people who are visual learners. There are people who are audio learners. There are people who are actually a combination of all those things. So with that being said, you have to have training where it makes sense for them. And if you don't have the time, hire somebody to come in and train them, or have somebody on your staff that's their job, is to train incoming new hires to do the job that it needs to be done. That's for operations. That could be for sales. That could be for marketing. Whatever it is in your company, you should always have a lead and somebody who knows the ins and outs of your company and how everything works, for them to actually, when the onboard comes, when the client comes, right, there's a system, there's a process. That person is hiring all, right? They're hiring and training the people that are coming underneath, right? And it takes away from you having to be in the business. Because when you have somebody who's in the lead and somebody who knows what they're supposed to be doing, it's easy for them to train somebody else because they were there before. Versus having somebody come in and you just throw them in a fire, and now it's kind of like, okay, I don't feel the culture. Like, I don't feel like I belong here. And you never want to make somebody feel like they don't belong there when they might belong there, right? But sometimes people don't work that way when you throw them to the wolves. And it's not fair to them because this is new to them, right? Even though they have the skill set, which most people might have the skill set, they just don't know your company too well. That's why a lot of these successful companies, they're successful because they have the training for their people, or they hire people to come in and train their company, right? That could be anywhere from monthly training. That could be anywhere from quarterly training, annually training, whatever it is in your business. Because you got to remember that as your business grows, technology grows, the internet grows, we grow. So you have to constantly be having training and being updated on the latest trends, because that's what's going to push the needle in your business. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about the 3 reasons why you're struggling to find a system to onboard new clients. Okay. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So we've been talking about the 3 reasons why you're struggling to find a system to onboard new clients. We've been talking about interviewing candidates, right? Now we're going to talk about stagnation. And you're probably like, why stagnation? Because a lot of times what happens is you're working really hard. You're the bottleneck in your business, right? Because what you're doing is you're doing all the work that your team should be doing. right? But you can't seem to get ahead in your company, right? You feel like you're stuck in a never-ending cycle because you're working and you're stressed out. The stagnation will keep you from not elevating and up-leveling in your business. Let's be real about it, right? Let's talk about it. When you're the bottleneck in your business, you are the reason why your business is not growing. There comes a point in time where you need to outsource and delegate, right? There comes a time when you are the face of the brand. And when I say face of the brand, what that really means is that, you're the one who's in the public eye, right? And then you have your team working the business behind you, right? Running it smoothly, generating the income it needs to generate, making sure your clients are onboarding, offboarding, make sure there's a proper system in place and everything that needs to be there. But you can't do that when you've always been executing at a certain level. There becomes a point in time where you're not the operational person, you're not the sales person, you're not the marketing person, right? And a lot of times I get it. Sometimes as a solopreneur, you have to be all those things. But when you start to level up in your business, start delegating and outsourcing, you'll see the difference, right? Because when you start doing all those things, then you'll see your business flow. And then you can see what the loopholes are when you start to have other people doing certain roles, right? And that's the key, right? Because it's always growth and revenue profit, right? Because that's what you want. You want to grow, you want to scale, you want to go from 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, and beyond, right? Wherever you are. And even if you're starting, eventually you want to have a multi-million-dollar company, a billionaire company, whatever it is. But you can't do that when you are a solopreneur. You can't do that when you're the one doing everything. It takes away your time from the necessary tasks that you should be doing, right? Anywhere from having it so whereas at the end of the day, it's like, look, the reality is this. In our business, we stagnate because we don't believe that we can do it. We don't believe that we can go to that next level. We don't believe that we can do better. And we don't believe that, we deserve more. You deserve more because as a business owner and a CEO, don't ever be scared to delegate. Don't ever be scared to move your needle to the next level. If you don't know something, hire somebody that does. If you don't know something, the best thing for you to do is guess what? Delegate it. And what does that take? That takes an investment, right? So don't be scared to invest. You live and you learn, right? Would you rather have longevity or shortevity? And that's the reality of it. So stagnation is super important, and especially when you start interviewing clients and you start bringing clients on your team, right? And if you stagnate, your team's gonna be stagnated because they don't know what to do, right? Because a lot of times they're looking for you for guidance, they're looking for you for direction, but they can't get that if they're not getting it from you. This is why when you outsource or you delegate and you hire leaders, you have leaders on your team to lead them. So now when you have people to lead them, what happens is you don't have to lead. You just have to make the way. And that's the hard thing for some people because they don't want to let go because they've been doing something for so long, or it might be their skill set and they love what they do, right? For me, I love operations. I love systems. I love the tech stuff, right? So it's hard for me to give it up because I'm kind of like, I like that. But I know eventually to grow, scale, I have to give it up, right? Because I have to give my clients more of my attention. I have to be in a position and a place where I can show up, right? Where I can, give them value, give them knowledge. And it's the same for you. If you're always in your business doing something that you shouldn't be doing, listen, you're getting overworked, right? You're not bringing in the money you want, and you can't function on the clients that you have. And this is why you stop at a certain mark, right? Whether it's a 10K mark, 20K mark, 30K mark, 40K mark, whatever it is, you're stuck there. And you're stuck there because you don't want to delegate, outsource, and you don't want to let it go. And the reality of it, it's okay. It's all right, right? For right now. But look at the long game. Look at where you want to be, right? You want to be that millionaire, billionaire company, multi-millionaire. You want to be that company, but you can't be that company if you stagnate. You can't be that company if you're still in the same position you've been in for months and months and years and years. You can't. And it's not going to happen, right? Because you got comfortable, right? you got super comfortable. And when you get comfortable, you stay in the same place, do the same things, and guess what? Nothing happens. So the fact that nothing happens and the fact that, it becomes a cycle, right? Then we got to say to ourselves, when is the best time for us to let it go? So I'm here to tell you, you don't have to stay stagnated, right? There's places, there's things, and there are people that are out there that are looking for you to be part of what you have at the right time and the right place. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about 3 reasons why you're struggling to find a system to onboard new clients. Welcome back. Welcome back. We've been talking about the 3 reasons why you're struggling to find a system to onboard new clients. We've been talking about interviewing your candidate. We've been talking about stagnation. Now we're going to talk about fire extinguisher. And you're probably like, what? What's that? Let me tell you. So the fire extinguisher is what? When there's a fire, you use it to put it out. And as a CEO and a business owner, that's what you're doing in your business every day. You're putting out fires, right? You're trying to rescue your business from failing. You're trying to rescue your business from not standing, right? A lot of times what happens is, you stay in companies for year after year and you see that there's no growth. And even in your business, you could be in business for 6 months, for a year, and see nothing, right? And then you're in business for another 2 years, another 3 years, and you're still stagnant and you can't figure out why, right? Not only is it because you're the bottleneck, but it's also because you're not putting in the necessary onboarding system for new clients, right? But not only that, you're not getting the right team, the right people in place to help you. Because you can't do this alone, right? So if people tell you to do this alone, you can't. You definitely need a team to help you, right? Because that's what's going to take you to that level, right? And you probably feel like you're overwhelmed. I know you feel like you're frustrated, right? And you feel like you're putting out fires left and right. You're never taking time for yourself, right? You feel like you're stuck in a rut and there's no way out. Or you could feel like, okay, well, I go on vacation sometimes, or, I take some me time. Okay, but are you really taking self-care time? Are you really taking that me time? Or are you sitting on the beach on your laptop, right? Or you at a golf course worried about, okay, did this client pay their invoice? Oh, okay, I got to check this person and see what they're doing, right? You shouldn't have to do that. When you're on vacation, you're on vacation. That means no work. But sometimes you don't understand that because you're still in work mode, because you're still in the business. You're still working in the business, not on the business, right? When you work on the business, you're showing up every day. You're showing up, you're in front of the scenes, right? You're networking, you're talking to people, right? Those are the things that you're doing. But when you're still in the business, working in the business, you're the tech person, you're the operations person, you're the marketing person, you're the graphics person, you're everything. So my question would be to you is, if you're everything, what are you really getting done? Because it takes time to do your graphics. It definitely takes time to do your systems and automation, right? Unless you have something that's automated. But even still, when it's automated, you still have to go in and check it from time to time. You got to update your copy. You have to do a lot of things, right? And a lot of times you'll set it and let it go and forget these things because you have so many other things in front of you. And then sometimes you're doing an event, but you send somebody to the page, the links don't work, or either it's the dates are wrong, right? So people are not sure if they're at the right place, or your systems are not functioning, right? Your emails are not going off. It's a lot of things you got to think about. And then you're not really sure how many people registered, right? How many people showed up, right? Who purchased, who didn't purchase, right? These are the things you got to think about, especially when you onboard new clients, right? You got to keep a track record, right? Your data, of who's coming in, where are they coming from? Where's your most traffic coming from? What are they signing up for? What is the most thing that they're struggling with, their pain points? And when you find out these things, you'll start to see what people really come to you for, what you do for people, and how you can help them. And you can scale your business on a whole nother level. But if you have so many things out there and you don't know where everybody's coming from, you're not keeping a solid track, then it's not going to work. You got to remember, a fire extinguisher is to put out the fires. You shouldn't have to, every time I turn around, be putting out a fire. Because if you're putting out fires time and time again, then what are you really doing, right? It's like the hamster, right? It's like the hamster that keeps going and going and going and going. Why do you keep reinventing the wheel? If something works, keep duplicating it, keep doing it, get better at it, right? Because that's what's working. Not trying to do 1,001 things, and every time you turn around, you got to put out a fire. Now, when you put out the fire, now you got to figure out, okay, how do I recoup from that fire? Now you got to see, okay, Dak, I lost this amount of time, I lost this amount of money. How am I going to get that back? You can never get your time back. And a lot of times you can never really get that money back if you're not making it. If you're not making it, you can't get it back. And every time you onboard a new hire and you're spending $24,000 per hire or more, guess what? You done threw down the drain $24,000 for a new hire that you could have put somewhere else. And you're doing it over and over and over and over again. Why go through that? Who wants to go through that? Nobody. Because your business is not made for you to struggle. Yes, it's a lesson to be an entrepreneur, right? You go through good times, you go through bad times, you go through all of that. You do. But you don't have to constantly be putting out fires. Why? You don't have to. When you have a team, your team is there to put out the fires. Your team should be the ones that are actually in the background making stuff run smoothly, right? Your job as a CEO is to show up, and if you sign checks, approve stuff, right? Be in the know-how, be in the loop. And you got to make sure that your stuff is working. So when people come, it's easy access to you. It's nothing like showing up to a company or want to work with somebody and you have trouble with getting to their customer service, or either their customer service is taking forever to get back to you, or they're not properly sending you the stuff that you need, whether it's an invoice, right? Whether it's a proposal, whether it's whatever it is that you need, right? And sometimes that's the problem, is they have a system, right, that they have in place already, and they put people through it, not realizing that sometimes that system needs to be updated. If you had a team, your team would know that, because your team would be working closely with the tech, they would be working closely with the marketing, they would be working closely with the new hires. Because when you're hired to do a job, whatever it is, whether you work a 9 to 5 or you're an entrepreneur, you are required to do your job. You are required to make sure that all your tasks are done. You are required to make sure that you're showing up. You are required to make sure that everything is working smoothly and properly. Not constantly putting out fires. Because every time you put out a fire, right, now you got to stop what you're doing, because you got a fire to put out, and it affects everything else in your business. So now you have a bunch of loopholes that you created, because every time you turn around, you're putting out fires. There's no need to keep putting out fires when you don't need to. That goes for if you have events in your business. That goes for if you have programs. That goes for if you have software. Anything. Stop putting out things that don't need to be put out. It's that simple. Because the reality is, you could do so much better and you can get farther ahead when you have a team in place, right? And the fact of the matter is, guess what? You're spending your time interviewing candidates. Why? When you could have somebody on your sales team, right, who's talking to these clients, right? They know your mission, your vision, your value. They know your company in and out. So they know if they're qualified and a good fit for you, right? not you. Because what happens is when you start doing that, guess what? Now you took away time that you could have been marketing something. You took away time that you could have been networking. You took away time from you doing the things that need to be done within your business. Let's be real. So there's no need for you to be interviewing clients when you get to a certain level. You should have somebody on your team that's doing that for you. There might be times, yes, you're in the hiring process and you're in the interviewing process when you're looking for somebody very specific. Like, for example, some CEOs and some, people look for like personal assistants or executive assistants or their right hand. That's a little different because now you could be a part of the onboarding or the hiring process because you know what you're looking for exactly. But all the other departments, you should have a lead. That's just the reality. Have a lead person that's leading everything, right? They're leading the sales, they're leading the marketing, they're leading the tech, they're leading all of that. Around the clock, it's like clockwork. Even though you have business hours, you should still have somebody who's there to put out those fires, right? And what that means is that even though your business is closed, you still have somebody on the back end who's able to, take those reports, right? And put them in a way so where, okay, the company knows or the team knows at the end of the day, okay, we need to take care of these clients because these are the issues. Okay, these are more important, right? Let's do these first, right? Then everybody else falls underneath, right? And that's the thing. It's like a cycle. It's a cycle that's never ending. But these are the things that you're going to need to grow and scale your business. So let's recap, right? Interviewing clients, super important. When you interview clients, make sure you have SOPs in place. I'm going to say it again. Make sure you have SOPs in place. Those are standard operating procedures. Because now, and every standard operating procedure is a process, whether it's a process for your launching, whether it's a process for onboarding, whether it's a process for marketing, whatever it is, have those. Make sure they're updated constantly. So when you onboard somebody, they have something that they can go off of. Outside of the additional training that you have for them, they're following your SOPs because that's your process, right? Stagnation. Stop saying stagnant. There's no need to say stagnant because the reality of it, you're still stagnated, it's because of you, right? Get out your head, delegate, outsource, invest. Because that's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to scale and find the right people. And stop being a fire extinguisher. Stop putting out unnecessary fires because you're scared to level up and you're scared to do the things that you need to do within your business, right? Stop feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, stressed out because you want to be everything in your business. You are the bottleneck in your business. You are the problem in your business. Sometimes it's not the team because the team is comfortable because they know that you're going to do everything. Stop doing everything and let them step up to the plate and do the job that you hired them to do. Or either put somebody in place where they can properly train them. So for everyone who's out there and they're like, this is me, I am that fire extinguisher, right? Or I'm that person who's stagnated in my business, or I definitely need help interviewing candidates, and I'm struggling to onboard my clients, right? I want you guys to join my text community at 347-790-0306, right? And text the word onboard, right? And let's have these conversations, right? Get the help that you need for onboarding. Get the help that you need for your team. That's why we're here, right? So you don't have to continuously another day, another week, another month, another year being stuck in the same place. So if this was for you, say me, right? But definitely reach out. If you know somebody who's out there and who definitely needs help, right, within their operational system, the back end of their business, right, you can tell them to text this number, 347-790-0306, or share the live, like the live, right, and tell them we're here every week, same time, tune in. So I want to say to you guys, enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night, morning, wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you next week. Talk to you soon.